Welcome back. Today on the channel we're going to show you all how to trim a brisket, nice and easy Texas brisket. Stay tuned, this is going to be fantastic. A little sip of Red Bull and we off. Right. This is the meat side of the brisket. We're going to go ahead and take a slicer and we're going to start working our way into this clump of fat right here. Go ahead and put that in the fat pile. Needs a little bit more for trim. I started doing this after I saw Cooper Abercrombie doing this. I really liked what he was doing. I thought it was quite remarkably fantastic. And I've pretty much been doing it ever since. Right, as you can see, we have a ton of this kind of trimmed out. I'm going to keep kind of, that's why you wear a cut glove. Right, that's nice and aerodynamic. We're not going to worry, we're now going to knock out the sides. Now we have, on this side along here, we have a lot of that steam, you know, that glistle from the steam process during the you know, butchering of the actual. See, it's kind of, you know, that you don't really want that. That's gonna, you're not really wanting that. We're kind of, we'll start to look a lot nicer. Right, over here we have a corner. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to actually trim that in a minute. Now we're going to start taking off some of this we are getting very scarce on prime briskets down here. They do not come into Sam's anymore for some weird, very strange reason. They've stopped carrying them. I don't know if it's a price thing or what it is. I can no longer get prime briskets in Naples, Florida, where I'm from. Alright, we're just going to keep going. So we are using a choice today. There is plenty of barbecue places that use choice and don't use primes, so we're now going to kind of start getting in there. You can always put your hand under it like I'm doing to trim that off. We made a little pocket here, so we're going to trim over that side anyway. So we're going to kind of rotate this around, trying to work clean while we're doing it. Spin this puppy around. Now we're going to get this off. Not too worried about that. We're going to come in and trim that area off anyway. I'm going to kind of level out this. Give it a little level out and see what we're. Now you could literally spend 20 hours trimming this and nitpicking it, but I'm happy with this. I don't think we're going to have any issues with it. We are cooking hot and fast, so I'm not terribly worried about this. Alright, so now we're going to start picking on this side. We'll get to that side when we flip it over. Right, so I think we're pretty good on this side. I'm not going to dig any more of this out. We're going to go ahead and actually trim this up just a smidge. Our whole goal with this brisket is to get it to lay flat in the end. So that's my meat side pretty much done. Let's see if we can flip this over without dropping anything. Right. We now have our meat side. So you see this big old mohawk? We're going to make sure we're clean. See this big old mohawk? This is going to be the first thing to go. So we're going to absolutely 100% hack into this. That's not done yet. I don't typically save that. You can, but I don't typically do that. So we're going to hack in more. Alright, on the opposite side of this, right down here, we're actually going to lump this off. We don't need this end cap like this. I'm going to put that in the good pile. We're going to square this off. We don't need this all like that, and that can go in the good pile. In this pan we have a good pile and we have a glistle. Right, it's starting to look kind of good. That's a glistle, we're not using that. Now there's a pocket of fat cat in here. We're going to actually switch knives for this. Ooh, this thing is riflingly sharp. Back to our slicer. We're going to actually lop this complete entire side right off. We'll kind of trim that out and we'll get that for some burgers. We just want to make sure this thing is even. All the way across. We switch to the other knife. We got it. Right, so we're now. So if you look on the other side, on this side there is a big wallow of hard fat. We're going to kind of actually trim this down a little bit more. We're going to level and corner that off, making sure there's no hard bits. Like I say, I'm not worried about the point. Run out, so we've removed the mohawk. Now we're going to remove what I've called the shelf. The shelf is back here, and it is a thick wallow of hard fat. If you do slice into it, it's not a huge deal. But it is definitely got to get trimmed. I'm going to come up this way now. I'm going to go back down this way. Nice gorgeous white fat. Not terribly worried about scalping into this. This is the point. Right, now, so we're good on one half. We're going to flip over to the other knife. We're going to actually get a little bit of, we're just leveling off this side. Actually, my wife looks forward to me doing this every single time because we get about 15 burger patties out of it. Alright, so we're good on the back half. We're going to kind of take that down a little bit more. I'm going to come over here and do that. I see a little lump right here. It's got to go. A little bit more. So I'm not worried about that. Really, I'm not. I'm not going to really care about that. We're nice and even. A little bit more trimming up here to kind of solidify that hock. Right. You could come in here and do this. Give it a nice little scalp to even everything off. But we're happy with that. Now we are going to shape the front of this puppy. So we're going to rotate her around. She's nice on that side. I see a little bit too much fat on here. That's nice, I like that. We're going to go ahead and rotate her, flip her so we can hit that side. Alright, this side's still got a little bit too much glistle. Alright, I'm happy with this. We're going to trim a little bit. A little bit too much here too. We want about a 1/4 inch of fat throughout the whole entire Like I said, I am not a professional at this. I just have been barbecuing for a while. Right. We're now going to make that initial slice through that hard fat. Definitely don't throw this away. It will crank out some of the best burgers you've ever had in your entire life. And I just kind of gently go through that so we're not quite as chunky. Squeeze it out and lay it down in the correct direction that it's supposed to go. Okay, I'm happy with the back. We've got a nice little fat cap on the back protecting it. We're good all the way down here. We're now going to, over here is a little bit thin, so we're now going to go in with the other knife. Your point kind of starts right about here, so what we're going to do is come around. We're going to just nip on around and get this. Now we're just going to finish this off. This is called a heavy Texas trim. This is exactly the same way they trim them in a lot of the barbecue stores. Right, now we're starting to look kind of nice. Give it a little whack, flat on down. Now we're laying kind of flat. We're making sure there's no. We've got nice point, nice fat all the way across. We're going to trim that up just a smidge. I like the Mac Attack for this one. Right, I think we're good to rock and roll. We're going to kind of press that down so it's not quite as I'm not worried about that, like I said. That sculpt does not matter. It really does not. So, alright, we're just making sure. And I think we're good to rock and roll. Like I said, we're going to rotate, flip this over to make a double check. We're looking beautiful on the back side. We really are. We've got a nice little like I said, you could sit and do this all day. And before you know it, you'd have no brisket left. For any of the sculpty bits, you can make this as clean and as nice as you want. Kind of level this off. Just making sure there's no real crazy sharp edges. Hit your 45s. Just looking at it from different angles. Right, I think we're good. We're good on a beautiful Texas trim. We're not going to go any crazier than this. We're going to go ahead and clean up in a minute, and we're going to go ahead and get them seasoned. This is how we trim the brisket here on Rampage Bbq. Here we have our pile of tallow. That's about to go into the smoker so we can render it down and put on this as we wrap it. And we have all the scraps that we will now grind up and turn into burgers. So we didn't lose really a crazy amount of it. That is what we lost. That's all your garbage. You don't really want to put in it, like your silver skins and stuff like that. I could go through that more, but I'm just not going to do it. As you can see, our tallow is now done. This is as far as I like to take it. If you take this any further, the bits of fat can actually start to burn and turn the tallow rancid.